Three sisters with stories to tell. Books in our hands, we know them well. Flipping pages where dreams dwell. Chapter one, here you go. Turn the light, let the words flow. Laughs and love in every show. Books, sweet hearts, we grow.
Welcome back to part 3 of our second series, The Things Gods Break. What an exciting section. So many things going on.
I have a theory from it. I do. I don't theorize.
Felt so validated, honestly, from last week. You guys really pushed back. I was like, I don't know. On a couple of things. On a couple of things. So yeah, I'm excited to get into it. I've got a lot to talk about.
So
for sure.
Hannah's excited to be like, I told you so, bitches.
Yeah, I don't even remember what I was wrong about, so I can't wait to find out.
Not even that, just like I like that this is the path that she's taking.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
It was unexpected too. It threw me off. Abigail Owen is doing a very good job this book. Like, we have theories of how we want it to go, but she is going deeper. She's going past it.
We are at the quarter mark and definitely already like this one better than the first, and I loved the first one.
Well, I don't know if either of you looked at my tab of note. Probably a good thing because I put a couple of things in big, bold caps lock.
I took notes in my notebook.
Do you have your handy dandy notebook?
All right, so I think without further discussion, let's jump into the segments. Start with the shelf shakedown by Christy, a rapid recap of the previous part that we read in the episode before this one.
Okay, so putting everything into a tiny paragraph was difficult, but here we go. In this section of the story, so last week's episode, he spirals into rage and despair after losing Lyra. We got our first Hades point of view. Can you hear her? Where is your father?
She just
Get that baby some milk.
Where is your father? Okay. Back to the rapid recap. I'm just going to start over. In this section, Hades spirals into rage and despair after losing Lyra, nearly destroying everything until Demeter traps him to stop his rampage. That was our first chapter from Hades' perspective, and I'm happy to say we got more. Meanwhile, Lyra's pulled back into Tartarus, discovering the cracks around her, fractures in time created by Kronos, and then she's been time traveling, even meeting a young Hades in the distant past and inspiring his compassion. That was AI, so I don't know. Alongside Boone, Lyra navigates the dangers of Tartarus, learning about the pandemonium that turns Titans feral and uncovering that she is prophesied to be their savior. They encounter Persephone, who turns out to have set a trap for them, leading Lyra into another fall and a second Locke trial. A deadly chariot race overseen by an AI version of Hades. Lyra and Boone barely survive, unlocking the next stage while learning the truth. Tartarus is sealed by 7 divine locks, one for each of the Olympians who imprison the Titans. Oops. To escape, all 7 must be opened, but doing so could unleash unimaginable chaos. And that's a rapid recap.
Perfect.
Let's set this off to the side.
All right. With that, let's jump right into Sister Takes. Ashley will lead us chapter by chapter through part 3, and we will input our banter as needed.
Where you lead, I will follow anywhere.
Okay, I'm here for it. So we start off and we're still in Lyra's perspective, which is important to clarify because, again, we will get some of Hades' direct perspective, which was not as crazy as last time, but it's still really good content. So we ended right as Lyra was walking out of Hades' Lock, which is exactly where we pick up in part 2. And, they get their powers back as normal. But right after this happens, Persephone comes up behind Lyra and gives her, the weird shoulder hug, it sounded like. And, ew. I just want to say, I know my face was reading that. Yeah, I don't get it. And, Lyra agreed with me on that one. She was not into it. And she's like,
This bitch.
Yeah.
Such me.
And on top of that, It's like Persephone is totally just like oblivious to like how stiff she gets when she hugs her. She's just like, I'm so glad you're okay.
I think she has autism. Persephone's on the spectrum.
I'm pretty sure
Missing
I'm
those
somewhat
social
on the
cues.
spectrum and I can pick up on body language.
It's not an insult. It means like it is factual.
Well, she factually
Persephone.
got real stiff and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It was weird. And now Kronos is back in the mix. Apparently, he has hit his threshold with the pandemonium and he's back, but he's definitely looking a little sickish. And they describe it as like gray, like he's just kind of been through the ringer of man flu. And we have a couple of different people that are introduced, and they don't really talk too much. She does go in to describe some more of the Titans, like Hyperion and Cryus, but they don't really get too into it. She's just kind of finally picking up and giving them a little bit more time for her to actually realize who actually is down here. But then again, her brain is too overwhelmed. She's like, nah, forget it. But apparently, while Boone and Lyra were she doesn't really explain too much when this happens, but they decided that they would be more agreeable to the Titans' terms, but they have terms of their own and they want to come into this with an agreement, which all of the Titans are clearly expecting. And it's very much that I've heard this 8 million times. You can almost see the eye rolls that I'm sure 90% of them are giving. And there's a lot of erroneous banter, but in the end, they do come to a pretty quick agreement from what I was expecting. I thought there was going to be a lot of back and forth, but I guess considering this is probably like the 800th time they've done this, the agreement is that the Titans have to prep them for the locks, not just throw them in or throw Lyra in and make Boone chase them down to jump in with her. So they have to prep and train them for these upcoming locks as best they can, given this rule of if she learns too much, they all reset and start over. And that they have to give an unbreakable vow that they can't harm anyone, God, goddess, human, monster, otherwise, in the event that she lets them out. Which in her mind, she's still thinking like, sorry.
Pause for a second. It's okay. So that we don't have to go back through as much.
Yeah. First of all, like what Lyra thinks to request. Like, I think even us knowing her, like, duh, like she's gonna ask for those two things.
Yeah. I feel like anybody should ask for those things. Like, I feel like those are the easy ones.
To be expected.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like for Iapetus and all that. I love that it comes back and it's like, yeah, we'd love to negotiate with you, but he's got to go. And Boone and Lyra are so aligned on that. It made me laugh every step of the way through this. We're like, no, not you. Sorry, you're not invited to the Cool Kids Club.
Oh, did they
definitely aren't there yet.
Yeah, I thought that was
We
just.
are.
That's
No,
in the
that's
next
literally
chapter.
the second page. No, it's literally. You'll want to negotiate now, I expect. We would, but not with Iapetus.
Oh, yeah.
That. Well, he doesn't really phase into he doesn't listen to that anyways.
Right. And then we find out the other three Titans that show up, those are the one has an aura around him like the northern lights, one Skid reminds her of a sunrise, and one is as colorless as moonlight except his black eyes. And you explained who those were. Something else that was important that came up is that we meet, I think you got through this, we meet the prophet?
The Titaness of prophecy, Phoebe.
Yeah, Phoebe shows up. So she's not just like a one and done, oh, hello, Asher.
Sorry,
Oh, Sebastian's back there too.
I didn't even
Chase
see
isn't here
Sebastian.
today.
I just literally thought that was a blanket.
I did too.
So, hi, boys.
I just covered them up.
When I read this at first, I was excited because I thought Phoebe was just going to be like, oh, she did this. And we never get her perspective. We never hear anything else about her. So when they brought her in and she's down there, it was a relief, honestly.
I definitely knew she had to be down there. Otherwise, all the prophecies and whatnot, like it wouldn't have, there would have been no point in bringing her into the story.
She is a sister to Rhea, correct? Or is she above? Sister to Rhea.
Sister.
And I was gonna mention maybe it comes back at another time, but oh no, what?
Need one
Um,
more meal?
Gotta go find Daddy. Go potty. We go find Daddy?
I need to go potty.
Hi, guys.
oh, you're
Need to
good.
release there.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention again, maybe it doesn't come back, but they specifically said you always come out of Hades' Lock with a better understanding, and he never resets your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Because he always tells you, and it never resets anything.
Was either
right.
Kronos or
And he remembers. He always remembers and builds off of it, and that's very different from all of the other locks.
Mm-hmm.
Was that here?
The build off was a chapter before,
Okay,
but
gotcha.
Iapetus is the one that said, I think their reasoning of why they just pushed her into it because Hayes is able to tell her things that she will accept versus if they
Right.
Yeah.
tried, she would reset.
Yeah, she's gonna come out of there better, so they might as well just shove her into it. Sweet, go get Daddy in my room.
We both
Vivian
have
has one job.
today.
One job.
she's so sweet about it too. It's like she's whispering, almost like she
No, I want to pick her
knows.
up and cuddle her, and I can't. That's all I want. Okay. Where did we leave off? When I cut you
So-
off because we need a little pause.
Okay. So
They're negotiating.
they're kind of negotiating. She's setting her terms and they're like, yeah, okay, cool. We'll do it. Except Phoebe, this is when Phoebe really actually comes into the picture and says, but what about in self-defense? Our children typically act first, think second, I think is how they say it.
Yeah, in response to like, you guys have to promise you're not going to harm any gods or humans or
Right.
anyone really when they're released.
Yeah. Which she ain't wrong. They're all very short tempered, the Olympians. And Lyra concedes, like, okay, yes, we will, we'll build something into that for later.
Little does she
Like,
know.
'cause- Yeah. And they agree to all of this, and Cronus is like, okay, let's go to the map room. And she's like, hold up. She looks around and finally realizes, like, where is Rhea? She's just missing. She's like, holy crap, did the pandemonium get her? Because they all kind of just get dead silent and quiet, like, I don't know what to say here. I don't know about you guys, but I was like, no way. Did somebody kill her? Like, did she go to Kronos while he was infected and he
Did
like
it explain why Rhea was gone?
they have not, which I'm curious.
It's somewhere. Is it in the bathroom? Go get it. Did you find Daddy? Go find Daddy. Spank his butt. Go get him. Go get him. Come back and report back.
No, they didn't mention. I think so. I don't know, guys. I think I just have like a sixth sense is just like intuition or something. But I immediately got Kronos did something to her. Like, because they all looked at Kronos and he was looking discomfort. And that was me thinking, like, he probably had to hide her because they were about to do this to Lyra and she was not going to be happy about it.
I was wondering if maybe she wasn't amenable to their plans for the next steps, like the map
Yeah.
room kind of situation, or the pandemonium thing. Which I guess what did he say? She asked if the pandemonium got her, and she didn't really answer. They didn't answer her.
No, they did
And I was
not.
like, what is that? But it says Cosmos grant us peace. Go get Rhea, Kronos. Here's Daddy love. Go seek
Yes.
3 times.
And finally, like, there's this just kind of back and forth a little bit. And Cronus is very like, he makes it obvious, like, he's gonna be in deep shit if he goes to get her. And he's kind of like, and that's when Boone does the thieves' danger whistle. And immediately Lyra sees Persephone kind of perk up and also express on her face, like, oh shit. And she was like, hold up. Did she just understand what Boone said? Like, how does she know what this means? And she even talks
Something
about, like,
happens in chapter 35. Something happens, and I did not tie it back to this, but now I did, and we'll talk about it when we get there.
I was already kind of piecing that together based on the flirtation they had in their first interaction last
day.
right, where I was like, I think there's something there. And that was one thing too. I was like, okay, this is reaffirming
Yeah.
that prediction.
And in when I was first
Correct. I did want to correct Ashley. I think what they were actually fearful of and why he whistled at her was because she brought up the crash. She says, although between pandemonium, the earthquake, and the cracks in the rocks, maybe not. And then they say they all were fearful.
Yeah, I think that it
Mhm.
just was like, back off. Like, we don't need
Yeah.
this tension in the air right now.
She
I didn't even
hasn't
pick up on that.
told them she knows this, and they're all trying to get it together. And they've been piecing along the way. They're kind of all freaking out that
Mm.
maybe everything's about to fall apart, and this is the last chance they have.
That's
I
fair.
like that one
Yeah,
of
I
the
didn't
last
even
things
think
they
about it like
negotiate. Less important. I like that one of the last things they tried to negotiate was living quarters. Like, they haven't even been
Yeah.
in living quarters. They haven't slept. They were in the column hole.
Mhm.
What?
Yeah.
Why do
Well,
they
and
need to
she
get out of
does
here? They don't need living quarters.
and
I feel
she
like that was
does say
just
that
being
it was
petty.
so random that he had to be it felt more like he was trying to test how willing they were to truly negotiate with them. Although I just
Mhm.
found that whole negotiation agreement thing anticlimactic. I'm sitting there thinking oh shit, it's about to get real in here. And then it's like, okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll do that too. And I was like,
Really?
okay. But I was thinking before we got later in the book, originally I was thinking that it wouldn't have it wouldn't have actually been that weird for Lyra to have taught her the language in all the times that they were there. Boone wasn't there. And Persephone, if she's telling the truth and they were
But
friends,
Persephone wasn't there either, was she?
yeah,
Maybe she was.
she would have been there each of the that's been the lead in this whole time through all the resets.
She's only been there for 150 years.
But every
But
time
it's been a
Lyra,
reset,
it's the same.
which we find
They
out.
both reset together.
Yeah.
Okay, so all the resets have happened in the last 150 years since Persephone's been
No.
trapped.
Every reset is 150 years.
Yeah, they start over every 150
okay.
years, which that
And
comes
when
later, but
Lyra
it's
goes back,
I didn't catch that. Okay,
first. We'll
I
get
didn't
there.
catch that. Yeah, I'll have to explore
Yeah.
it more. 'Cause okay, after 28,
so Kronos is
slow rolling.
duck it, fine, I'll go get my wife, and pieces out, and they all go down a tunnel, which they haven't gone down yet, and head toward what they call the map room. And as they're going, they're walking by what we now know are cells, but they are enclosed rooms. They don't have bars and windows and whatnot. It's just a bunch of doors. And as they're going down, Iapetus comes up from behind and warns them, don't go into a door that's marked with an X, or you might not come out alive.
I think all of them were in these cells, and like Aphrodite mentioned, she got out the first day or whatever. Do you think that's the case? All of these Titans were in a cell just like that, and they've just gotten out. Yeah,
I think so because they do say, earlier it was either this last section, or the very first one where they talk about their individual cells, they each have their own room,
right.
essentially.
Okay.
And so they get there, and right before Nimazine starts to open the door, she's like, full brakes, hold on. Actually, I skipped the funny part in all of this. So all of a sudden, everyone gets super quiet, and they're like, "Hold on, Kronos is there," and they're like, "How the hell did he get there so quick?" And you hear Rhea "Oh, I'm already here, darling." And she's super pissed at this dude, and he starts essentially about to argue with her, and she tells him "Hey, shut up." Saves her hand, and all of a sudden he's muted. I'm not married, but I'm sure you two can agree that that would be amazing, that you're just arguing
Oh
with
my
your
God, yeah.
husband who has pissed you off,
Absolutely.
and you just wave your hand, and he's still talking, but nobody can hear him.
Are you
He would
kidding
use it
me?
against
You would
me
never
more if he
hear
had that
him
power,
again.
though.
And at some point he even tries to come back up near her, and she slaps him away nah, back off. We still don't know exactly what it is, but from their interaction it felt more like a personal type spat that probably escalated to some point more than the pandemonium, or the Titans being the Titans or whatever. But then they go to get into the room, and Lyra stops everyone and says that Nimazine, Rhea, and Phoebe can join them, but literally nobody else. And Kronos is offended by this. Like, he's like, what did I do?
Especially not Kronos and Iapetus. Especially
Yeah.
not them.
And she's like, I thought it was weird that she even messed up. Remember, like, she's only gone into 2 locks, and she's like, you dropped me into 2 locks. Even I was confused by that. I was like, what? Like, how could you
It's very much
possibly?
like, oh, sorry. I think the lag got me. I
No,
was
there
gonna
was
say
no
it's
lag.
very,
I stopped mid-sentence.
this part was very Mean Girls, like, and none for Gretchen Wieners. Just like move on. They come in. Yeah. Oceanus is brought up again before that. That guy. Curse that traitor.
Well, I
And
haven't gotten there.
was Nemosine, was she married to Oceanus? Because somebody was like, at least, or is it Thea?
It's
Because one of them says at least I
it's one
wasn't
of the
married to
twins.
him.
It's Thesis or Tethys, or it's the one with the Y in
Oh,
it.
Tethys, Thea's twin.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was just curious. Because I still think
So,
that's going to come.
well, yes, but I hadn't gone to that part yet because I feel like the lead into that was super important.
Oh, I
And
can't follow.
or not that it doesn't come up. It's that no one really talks about him except he's kind of the missing link in all this. And Kronos gets really pissed off when she brings up, you swallowed your children. And he says, no, I did not. And
I
Rhea
did
jumps
not.
in and whispers something. And then he like cools off, to which leads into, well, what if it was all a glamour? Because they keep saying Oceanus is a traitor. We don't know anything about Oceanus. And no one has seen him since then. So what if Kronos was set up by Oceanus, who they keep calling the traitor? That was all I'm saying.
Which is what I said last.
So starting after explaining to Kronos why he's not invited.
Yes. So she's like mid explaining why. Like, you dropped me in and I'm pissed. To which, of course, they already know why Iapetus is not involved. He's just an asshole in general and nobody likes him, or at least they don't. So then she calls out Kronos because he swallowed his children, to which he was not happy about. His size grows and he's yelling and thunderous to the point where she even says, like, I expected there to be lightning.
I think, is that a different chapter? Because what she says here is actually about him castrating his father. She
Oh.
doesn't bring up him eating his after.
Where is he castrating his father?
She brings that up first, but I have that below this one in my notes.
Oh, yeah. Why would I trust somebody who decapitated and castrated his old father? And he says, for a good reason.
Right. Gotcha. And then
Cronus is like, I did that for a good reason. And he like can't explain it, probably because it'll reset time. And then Rhea explains, if he tells you time will reset. If you find out on your own, it won't. That one happens every time we've tried. Then that's where it tells us we start all over again 150 years ago, which I completely missed when Persephone arrived there. So Persephone is like a huge piece of what is happening with Lyra, turns out. And then, like, why does telling me things also cause a reset? Technically, you're part of the outside world, so it has the same effect with you. We think that's why. I didn't get this part. Like, the outside world, they don't remember.
Yeah.
Like,
So
is she
anybody
saying, like,
outside of Tartarus
doesn't remember.
mm-mm.
Like, none of
they
the
get
gods
reset.
or anything remember all the resets, is what they're saying. Okay. And she always ends up there. Only those officially imprisoned in Tartarus seem to remember all the other times. And like Lyra always ends up there. And then it does get into it. Lyra, Hannah, fine, time says all that. And I'm part of escaping, which is why you pulled me into it. But that doesn't mean I should trust you or like you. You ate your children to keep them from overthrowing you next. And that's where he says, I did not. And like, that pushed a button.
this is where my told y'all no came in.
Well, I agreed here because do you remember I theorized? I said I think that none of that was true, or in this version in her Greek mythology that none of that happened. I agree. I like how Ray is like, it's okay. Like, I'm still mad at you from a second ago, but it's okay. Oh, darling.
I don't actually know where we're at in the story. Boom lets Koyos come in. He's Detective Intelligence and Curiosity with the birthmark of stars across his forehead. She says he is a hot nerd vibe.
I liked that.
Yeah. And I think it was Iapetus who's like, wait, why does he get to go in? And kind of throws the teenage tantrum. And then they walk in and Lyra walks right into a geode time warp.
But Boone tells Iapetus because he's smart enough to just listen quietly. Like, maybe if you would shut the F up, we would let you come in, but you're annoying as shit. And that was like the worst time for her to just walk into that shard. We're about to find out some
yes
shit.
and
she
no,
just
but
walked into a shard.
since she pops right back at the same time, I mean, none of it's
Yeah.
going to have been convenient.
But we had to wait.
Yes.
Yeah, and I just made a note that kind of proves like no one's controlling when these things pop up because it was a shock to all of them.
And it was really inconvenient for them, right? Because didn't we talk about
None
last
of
week
them
maybe
are
they're
controlling it.
doing it?
Right, right.
But you think somebody down there might be?
I think Lyra is.
Okay, like she set them conveniently.
Mm-hmm.
It's been busy for the last 150 years, however many times she's gone through it.
I think she's been busy for the last couple of millennia.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
because it's 150 years per one cycle.
Yeah, that's why I said for however many times it
Yeah.
repeats.
Hold on,
Hit
wait a
me,
minute.
baby, one more time.
Hades' perspective.
Dun dun dun.
All right. So we learn in this chapter that the timing is actually 5 years after the last time he saw Lyra. He's 24 now. And they do mention, he does in his mind that he will stop aging now, essentially. So, about 24, 25 is essentially the age that they stop officially aging or really slowly age, I should say. And it is clear that there were no additional jumps between these two. So it's kind of interesting that these two were back to back time warps in the right chronological order because it hasn't been necessarily the case previously, it doesn't seem.
It starts out and basically his spidey senses are tingling. He's like, there's someone here that shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I feel a soul that I'm familiar with entering my realm.
And
I
she's
must go find
alive.
it. Yeah.
And
Great.
he does make the point of like, who could it possibly be? Even my siblings know not to come down here. Like, nobody's allowed. And on top of that, I don't invite people here. I felt very in sync with him in that moment. It's like, nobody drops in on me. I don't invite people over. Like, stay out of my space. Like, this is my bubble. Like,
And
I
Karen
need,
tries to give him shit. He's like, there's a lot of people here. Like, what are you talking about?
yeah. And so he teleports and he sees her, but doesn't realize it's her yet because he sees her kind of just like stumble into the area and he's like, WTF? And she's kind of cursing herself, like, fuck it to Hades and all of this stuff.
He's ready to like rain down hell on her.
Yeah. He brings out his bident and even has it like pointed and is about to like straight up murder this chick that has, entered his realm. And he realizes that it's her and puts it away into what did they call it? Like the middle space or something like that? The in between.
Yeah.
Looking for it.
Which is really interesting. I wonder if that's kind of how they all work. There's like this in between, and because he does say that's where he keeps it so that it's always nearby.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting.
Is his bident what's pictured on the book? Is that a bident? Because I've been wondering like what that is the whole time.
Yeah.
I took the cover off. All I've got is a chariot.
The
Yes, that's a bident.
okay. That makes sense. This whole time I was like, I wonder when this weapon's gonna be brought in here. Okay. He's like checking her out. Yeah, to the in between where I keep it for easy access. He calls it the in between.
And so after she's done, having this internal monologue, she whips around and runs smack dab into him. And he realizes it and he's definitely getting all the warm and fuzzies like through the whole thing. He's just like thinking to himself, like, oh my God.
He got chill bumps all over. He's
Yeah.
like, Lyra.
Yes. And he is clearly like, all right, this time I'm getting all of the answers that I want. Like, you're not going to poof out whenever you want and all this. And of course, she's being cryptic because she doesn't know what's going to reset time. And she doesn't want to have to go through all of this again.
Right. He does I love that we get the best part of getting Hades chapters is you get to see he's dreamed of her face for every day for the last 5 years, even though he's only met her twice. Every aspect of her, like her skin being soft, holding her hand, like his obsession with her, really. And he shares that with us. Yeah. He's being a hard ass to her.
Yes. And essentially, like, not a lot happens in this other than he wants answers and she's just not going to give them to her or to him. And he's also recognizing that, again, she's not afraid of him at all. And it's really frustrating for him because that means he's not going to get what he wants. I feel like he's been coasting at life because everybody's terrified of him. So whenever he says or demands something, they just do it.
I like
And she's like, nah.
Oh, sorry. The pause. I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
I like, he's like, does she just flit in and out of people's lives, dropping bombs like a kind of sadistic fairy?
Yeah. Which he described her as a fairy the last time too.
Because her ears are pointy, maybe? Do you think?
Does she have pointy ears?
Yeah. Or maybe it's her chin.
Yeah. I was like, what?
I was like, I've way
I knew
missed
some
that
part of her was
in the last
pointy. It's her chin.
book and a half.
Pointy chin girl.
Yes. So he's like, okay, well, I'll show her. And he teleports her down to essentially the bowels of hell. Is literally built with the bones and vitriol of all the evil souls that he has damned for all eternity to burn in the similar fashion that all humans relate to hell. And she kind of looks around and laughs at him like, you brought me here to scare me? Like, that's not going to work. And it only pisses him off further.
On top of her just being like, he's like, she doesn't remember any of this. She doesn't remember meeting me. I'm obsessed with her. And she just is so petty through all of it.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's funny because in the real time world, like, she doesn't have the one up on him in basically anything. And I don't know if it's her intention to be like, haha, sucker. Like, now I'm the one with the leg up. But her attitude is very much kind of like that in some of it. Like, sucks.
I think maybe she's using it like avoidance because she can't tell him anything.
Yeah. I mean, how else are you going to react? It's like, I can't tell you anything. So I'm just going to be super flippant about it.
Look over there.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah. So because she again decided to laugh at him and make small of his attempts to terrify her, he walks her over to the cells in this hell and locks her in it. And I think he makes a comment like, yeah, we'll see how long before you start telling me everything I want to know. And then leaves.
Yeah. Also in that chapter, I wanted to bring up during their like banter and bickering back and forth, she's like, you sound so much like your father. It's not even funny. And first she's like, oh no, I shouldn't have said that. But for him, he's like, thank you. Takes it as a compliment.
Yeah. It wasn't like a.
Yeah.
I found it to be really interesting.
It helps her with timeline too. And I think she goes back and forth on that. Like, well, I know that whatever bad shit happened hasn't happened yet. And if you think about it, Hades would already resent him at this point if he was swallowed as a baby. And he does not. And that's because he wasn't swallowed as a baby. Something else happened. I have a theory about it. Right? Don't you think?
That would have also been true for the first interaction.
Right. If that happened, wouldn't they all resent it?
Like,
you wouldn't imagine that they would have a happy family at all in any of those images if that had happened.
Right.
Like, why didn't we see that soon? I don't know.
I did.
Well, she's also questioning that still, like, if that was true or if it was spun by somebody. So she's still in the, I'm not really sure what's
like
going
the happy
on.
family. She was questioning, like, wait, this doesn't seem like it was real, right?
So the most important part of the next chapter for me is we finally find out
This one?
why not Cronus.
Are we done with this chapter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why
Like,
Charon calls him Phi. It is in all capital letters. I mean, in one of those episodes from the first book, I'm literally on my phone for 10 minutes sitting there trying to figure out WTF, like, where did this come from?
You got something, but it must not have been this. I don't remember.
It was not this. He calls him Phi because it is Thantophile, which means brother of death, which also I want to throw back to the first book. That's why he is so adamant that she cannot call him that.
Yeah, because don't call me your brother. It's like he's calling him bruh.
Yeah,
And he's like,
literally.
no, you can't call me bruh. That's funny. I didn't think about it that way.
I didn't either.
Yes. So the chapter starts with Hades is up at the house and he's having breakfast
And we're
with
still in Hades' perspective.
yes, with Charon, and he's pacing back and forth, and he's like, I refuse to think about her because he can close his eyes and see exactly what she's doing. But he's like, I'm not going to.
And he's
Because
obviously pissed that she's been in there 23 hours and hasn't called for him yet.
yeah, she's just chilling from what we can pick up at this point. Like, which honestly, why wouldn't she? I would be taking a nap. Like, I know I'm not trying to hide from the pandemonium or wonder if the
Crats.
Titans are gonna come at me. Like, I'm in a cell all by myself. It's kind of like when she was in jail
Yeah, she
during
likes
the
jail.
labors.
She does
Like,
like jail. This is an
yeah,
interesting thing about her.
she enjoys being in a jail cell by herself, and I'm not mad at it. But as he's, pacing back and forth, he clearly had told Charon not who she was, but what had happened, because he's like, why don't you just tell me? And he's like, I'm not going to tell you. It doesn't matter. Hades makes the point, like, again, that Charon is not scared of him, and it really pisses him off to the point where he makes this statement, it's only Lyra and Charon. They're the only ones that fear me, but Charon actually
That
believes
don't
the
fear him.
prophecy.
They're the ones that don't fear him.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
Which that I feel like is super, super important into learning more about what this unknown prophecy is truly about, which kind of explains a little bit more when Charon tells him. So Hades goes back to explain why he calls him Thantophile. And he makes the point to say, you don't fear me enough. To which he responds, well, don't worry about me, Thantophile. If you burn down the world, we'll take care of them down here. All souls come to us eventually anyway.
Come at me, bruh.
Which I feel like feeds into
the prophecy that he's going to burn
the
down the world.
prophecy.
So
Yeah.
the prophecy is Rena's prophecy. That is the prophecy.
I think that, so
I got chill bumps. We've known that this prophecy that whole time. It's Rena's prophecy.
yes, but I think
Got 'em on my face?
Rima's,
sorry.
yeah, I think Rima's
Reba.
prophecy is like a watered down version, possibly, or like a piece of what Phoebe's original prophecy was because of what we learn later on. So I'll wait to give you that
The
part
original
of it.
one, do we know for sure that it was Phoebe's prophecy?
I think Phoebe had part of it, but they talk about when they're in the last section when they were talking about Uranus, and it doesn't really clarify, but it kind of sounded like he was the one that had a prophecy. Well,
It sounds like it has to do with him and his grandfather.
yeah, like there's some entanglement, but at this point, I wrote down that all right. So
Hades zaps back and brings Lyra a pomegranate of all things, and she's like,
yes.
he doesn't get it. He obviously hasn't made the pomegranate seeds or whatever happened with the
Yeah, I
pomegranate.
don't think Persephone is in the picture yet in this, because if she had been, we would have seen her. Because
Well, that without like the water gardens and stuff, that was
Yeah.
of her side of stuff too, right?
Yeah. Maybe she's not born yet since he's only 24 and Demeter's younger than him.
because remember Demeter, she wouldn't be born yet because Demeter was only 3 in the last one, and it's been 5
she's
years, so
8.
she's only 8.
So we got a little bit before Persephone's in the picture.
Yeah.
I like that. And then next she starts throwing like all these modern terms at him. And he's like, what the hell is this girl talking about? TikTok and
Books don't even exist.
What's a book? Yeah, I like that.
Hey, go on, Ashley.
Yeah, so Lyra's the one that actually gives him the idea of the water gardens outside of his underworld home. And he makes the comment or question, Lyra, are you a goddess who wields time? And that's the last sentence of the book of the chapter, which
Yes.
is very interesting. So then we switch back to Lyra's perspective.
You skipped a lot in that chapter.
I mean,
Just really them like bantering more and Lyra like forcing him to sit down on the ground, and he's like, who do you think I am? But he does, and they're like fighting all these urges on both sides that they just want to like rip each other apart pretty much.
Her tattoos come up again. He sees them through the bars, and like they both looked at Orion's belt when they were kids.
Then yeah.
And she throws him an ass hat, and then he tries to demand her answers again. And then yeah, that was the end of it. We didn't miss too much. It was just like there was nothing on 2 pages.
Just the
Yeah, I
building,
clearly didn't think that was important.
just the building sexual tension is really what I wanted to bring up because it's going to keep going.
Yeah,
Well, good.
into her chapter.
That's why I skipped it. I figured somebody else would bring it up. Okay. So we switch back to Lyra's perspective. And as he's looking at the stars on her wrist, that's the first time he calls her his star. And that was cute. That we got to see kind of how that came about finally. And she kind of warms him over enough that he ends up opening the cell and tells her to come with him in a very Hades manner and walks her, or he teleports her to his room up in, I think it was Olympus. It was because it was, she was so worried about somebody seeing her. And so she walks him in, or he walks her in to his room and into the ensuite. And she notices that there's this huge sunken tub and it's already full of water and bath oils and whatnot. And he's like, here, you can bathe in here. And there is a lot of tension and whatnot. And he's like, don't worry. I'm not going to fuck you. And I'm not going to do anything. How did he say it? Like,
I'm not going to fuck you, Lyra. I
Excellent.
won't kiss you or touch you in any way that is intimate. And she goes, that
Yeah.
is disappointing, maddening, probably for the best.
and then he spins around, walks out, and pop, here comes the geode and swoops her right back to where she started. And everybody notices, like, clearly, like, we can wait. Like, we can do this later. And she's like, no, I just want to get through this now.
At the beginning of the chapter, she goes into this like mini panic about how she phrased the water garden situation because that she's like, is his intuition that good or did I say it wrong? She's like, it would be really nice. I personally wouldn't have been like, that means she's a time traveler, and she reassures him that only her father possesses that ability. So she's not really a time traveler. She just is getting caught in his time travel loops.
Yeah.
And he thinks that maybe Kronos is sending her to him. She's like, nah, like, stop asking me questions. I wouldn't hurt you. I wouldn't hurt you or anyone you love. And that's going to have to be enough. And then,
During when they're talking and she's like, yeah, that's probably for the best. She mentions back to their first kiss after the crucible or the first labor where he claims her that he had mentioned at that time. He had always wondered what that would be. So she's putting together they have not kissed in any of these, which doesn't make sense because they kissed in like the first one that we saw. But okay. But she's saying they have not kissed.
but at least that was like Hades knew that that she was coming back to him at that point because he was also seeing her. So I think that was the difference, right? Like she's there in the crucible as well. And so he's like fully, it's gotten so far. He's like, yeah, Lyra time travel. She comes and fucks with me. Right?
Yeah, but that first kiss was before the claim kiss.
Yes.
It was the day before. So really that wouldn't have been the first kiss.
That's
But either
true.
way,
Knew
that's
her,
what
but
she-
not that.
that's what she's referencing and why she's like, okay, we got to make sure that we keep our shit in check so they don't mess up any of the time stuff.
Ashley, you mentioned when it's like the first time he calls her my star, that he's like, you're going to be trouble. And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be more trouble than you can imagine, which is very true.
Yeah.
That made me chuckle.
I gotta move this. My knee is hurting. I'm getting old, guys.
I was just going to mention too, and it's more relevant after the next time travel, but they're not asking her where did you go?
Where she went. Yeah.
They're not curious at all. So I was assuming she was always going to see Hades. So they just assumed the same, but we find out that's not the case. But
Maybe, Kronos might not be throwing them at her, but maybe he has created the jumps. Like maybe all of these that are floating around are time jumps that he has created.
Well, also last time, like Boone didn't go with her, but saw what she was doing. So maybe they can see what's going on.
I don't think he
I don't
saw.
know.
I don't think he did.
I think we
He
just
said
guessed that
he
maybe it was
told
like in the
her to wait.
Passover,
Oh, yeah,
right?
maybe.
That,
Yeah,
I think
like
that's
I
what we
think
were
she
talking
was
about
still
last time.
saying her name as she was coming out of it, and that's how he knew.
But the first one, Rhea knew she went to Hades because she was like, what did he say? What did you say to him?
I think she's been going like before.
They knew that she goes back.
Like each time, like they know.
Yeah.
Then why
Their
were they
jumps are the same.
surprised? Why were they surprised this time? They were like, Nimazine was like, no, or something.
Koyo said,
Or,
"Oh,
actually-
already?" Like maybe she's usually gone for longer in their time, and this one just went really quickly. Is that what you're talking about?
No,
I
when she
think-
first walks into it, Nimazine is like,
Well, I'm wondering if she goes back to these specific time frames or whatever each time, but they might not necessarily be at the same point of her stay in Tartarus.
Also, still worried that every jump she has a chance of saying the wrong thing and
Right.
resetting time. So
right.
to me, it seems like it was an inconvenience because they're about to talk about stuff, and she could mess things up and start everything over. That was how I took Nimazine's reaction to that jump.
Yeah.
But who knows? Time will tell.
Yeah.
7 looks and 1 savior.
All right. So the first thing I have written down on here is that Persephone tries to come into the room and he's like, nope, not you under no circumstance, and slams the door in her face. And I'll put a big LOL in my notes. Like,
Yep, he just goes,
I like this.
non-negotiable. Not
Yeah.
you. Non-negotiable. It made me laugh. I was really hoping that's where you would go right into it.
Yeah. And so we find out through this conversation that they start off with, and Lyra, so they start talking about if the gods had ever tried to do any of the locks. And turns out they did try, and they actually lost Themis. And Lyra's in her mind, she's like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense. And bringing up how Hades said, you can only go through it because you were mortal before. And it all boils down to they die because at the beginning of these locks, their powers are stripped for them and they are their powers. So they essentially cease to exist as soon as their powers are stripped. So they lost.
Which that clears up the
Venus.
whole like why it has to be an innocent.
Yeah.
Somebody wasn't born with the powers. It doesn't really have to do with
Right.
help me. The innocence doesn't
Their
have
guilt
to do
or innocence and all
yeah,
of that.
They're
It literally has to
innocent.
do
It's
with
like referring to them being mortalless,
their
or
essence.
powerless. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
And she was actually the Titaness of Justice, who was also the mother of the Horai and the Three Fates. So I thought that was interesting that now we're talking about the Three Fates again in passing, if even. And anything anyone wants to add?
Yeah, there's a few things I want to
For
go
this
back
whole
on.
chapter? Or just where
No.
you're at?
Oh,
Just
okay.
where I'm at.
I think it's going to be important that Lyra's realizing that the Titans can glamour things so complicated, because apparently most people can just glamour like visions or ideas, but they can actually conjure real things. Apparently, it's not something the gods can do. I think that's going to come in to be important, especially with what we find out. I think that was really the only thing I wanted to point out. But let me just double check. Lyra also seems very like interested in that's how you kill a god or a titan, because you never heard of a titan being killed, right? And you strip them of their power. And she's also worried about herself. Like, this could happen to me. Like, I could actually die if I'm stripped of my power. And something like, I guess she's more, sorry, back up. She is more susceptible because she'll be mortal when she's stripped of her power, but they're gone. And I don't know if she's like putting that away for like, might need that later, or it's a worrisome. And they didn't know really, it seems like, but they learned the hard way. Also, but I think that's where you ended, is right there.
Yes. Yeah.
Those were my fillers.
So, and at some point, the conversation kind of switches over and they start talking about why people are so scared every time she jumps into a time warp.
I like
And she's like, wait, you guys have tried this before? To which, yes, they have. So the Titans have been popping in and out of the real world.
Can I
And
say though, real quick? I love the sarcasm of it because she's like, I have more questions about time travel. If it takes us to the past, why did we come back? Couldn't we just like stay there and hide and run away? And Nemesine's like, damn, why didn't we think about that? Like, oh. And she just gets up from Lyra.
yeah, to which we then learn that Iapetus had managed to be on the outside world for 2 years before the time crack finally found him, which took me back to, I thought it was really weird that she was there for 23 hours. Like, that's the longest she had ever been in one of those time warps. But it would make sense if he took her down to the bowels of the underworld and locked her in this like unbreakable cell, that it would take the time warp a little bit of time to like find her, because she wasn't where she started.
That's a
It's gotta
good
find her.
I think it's got like a
considering
homing beacon on her.
considering what we learn later too.
Yeah. And I mean, it does have some kind of homing beacon on whomever goes through it, because, you know, it eventually found Iapetus.
Yeah,
But he
but
was
they are
clearly,
saying you can hide.
yeah,
At least we know why he dresses like an idiot now.
which they do clarify. Anything before we move on to the map?
No, they're just like, they're talking about it a little more and they're just like, better just like focus on the locks. Let's not talk about that anymore. So I feel like there's a lot more to it. Like their
Yeah.
time travel and how impactful it was. Oh, wait. They didn't say the important thing yet though, right? No, they didn't. Okay, go for it.
So they walk over to this 3D map. Which initially, it starts out as just a big rock that's in the middle of this room. She kind of describes it as kind of like a conference table with no chairs. And then they do their little woody woo, and all of a sudden there's this 3D map that they can manipulate and move around and look further into.
That's why I brought up the
and
glamoring, because it says Rhea glamored that, and that's typically a very complicated thing to glamour. Just for
yeah.
in case it didn't make sense, then that's why.
And so when they look at it initially, she even points out, you know, Boone's map wasn't necessarily correct, but it was pretty close to what this map looked like as well, which only goes to prove like how really good at all of the thieving skills and the perceptions and whatnot he truly is, even though he hasn't come into any of his powers that we know of as a god. And so when they look at this to begin with, they can actually see what looks like, basically, I pictured it as they were describing it like you're looking down on a pie chart. You've got a circle and there's 7 pies, and they all have a little icon in them. And they're looking and they see Aphrodite's lock is a flame. And they see that, I think it was Demeter's was like a mother and child.
I was so confused because part of that is in one section and part's the other. So I was like, what's happening? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna go look into the next one they want to go to chronologically in the stories. They have to focus on Aphrodite. They want to focus on Aphrodite because she's never passed that one.
Yeah, she haven't
Yes, which I believe isn't Aphrodite's lock the last one. Didn't we talk about that in the last
It is.
section?
It is. Sorry, I just got confused because we went through the them going through the time cracks and then we went back to the table. So that's why I was like, thought we were there. Forgive me.
I'm not sure what the order of that is.
No, you're still following the book from my side. It was just right after that. It's at the bottom of 161.
Okay, cool. So they kind of talk about, Boone brings up like, this one's going to be the hardest, which he doesn't really give any lead into it. It's just kind of like, it felt like he was just kind of thinking out loud. And so they ask, I think it's Boone. He's like, okay, is it more important for us to take these one at a time or prep for all of them at once? Or what's strategy here? To which this is when Rhea actually kind of acknowledges him as, you know, maybe not an equal, but she kind of gives him the nod of respect in her facial expressions. And she tells them, you know, she's like, we can't really tell you all the parts because it could reset time. But yes, Poseidon's, they need to really kind of prep for the most, and the rest they can take one at a time. But Aphrodite's is the hardest, and they can't give any true insight into it because each time she's gone into Aphrodite's lock, all they see is a wall of fire. And then they confirm that she's never beaten that lock.
Otherwise,
Which, if that's
everybody
the
would be
last
screwed.
one, yeah, that makes sense. And then all of a sudden you hear Kronos pop up out of nowhere, like, yeah, she's too skinny and she's not very fast as a mortal.
Her
When they're
human
talking
muscle
about
is still
Aphrodite's lock.
pathetic.
And Lyra's like, where the fuck did he come from? But also, I'm just going to let it be because I don't want to deal with it. And Kronos asks Phoebe in not so many words about how Boone will play into it. And Phoebe's like, I haven't had any visions of him yet, which is interesting. But we found out later, it's not really a spoiler, but like she doesn't have super frequent prophecies and whatnot. Like she gets visions, but it's not like on the snap of her fingers, she can come up with one. So, anybody wanna? The only thing I have left is Kronos seems very excited and
Time
is
to
like,
set up
all
the
right, let's
obstacle
get this
course
off.
again.
Yeah.
How are you with the sickle these days?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah, the
seems
only
excited.
thing to add that they agree they'll train both Boone and Lyra. So now they kind of have two chances.
Yeah. Because, of course, Boone did well, I can go in first. And if I die, then Lyra has a second chance. And if you didn't read the first book, well, I don't know why you'd be reading the second, but clearly Lyra would never agree to that. Like, not
Did you
gonna
guys
happen.
catch Lyra's worry about Hera's lock? Because it says a child appears to be crying in the mother's lap, and there's something really sinister about the
Okay.
positioning.
Yeah, it wasn't Demeter's, it was Hera's. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, that is concerning.
Yeah.
Hera, because Hera is Zeus's wife, right?
Currently, yes.
But she's on that kid. Yes, obviously. She's one of the kids, Zeus's wife, and there's a child in her lap. So that's interesting. Oh,
Yes.
file that away for
She's
later.
Zeus's sister and wife and baby
Sister wife.
mama.
Hera,
But in the
Child.
creepiest context.
Wow. Sinister.
My theory is for Aphrodite's why she always dies is going to be something to do with Hades. Like Aphrodite being the love,
goddess of
and like
love.
it's like you have to kill him or give him up or something.
She has other, they all have their, oh my God, words are just completely escaping me. Their values thing.
They're categories.
Yes, they're categories, but hers is different than just love, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious because it doesn't seem like it fully, like Hades, for instance, he's the god of death, and there was death in his, but the purpose of it, challenge of it, wasn't defeat death. It was
Well, I'm going back to her labor as well because it was your most loved person.
yeah, that was
It's
the challenge
love,
of it.
beauty, pleasure, passion, and procreation.
We'll see what happens. I'm gonna file that away too. Okay,
All right.
33. I have something when we get to it that I will just interject when it happens.
My notes start with a prediction that I know is later in the chapter.
The chapter starts with like Lyra's really impressed with the glamour that they were able to achieve in the obstacle course because it is fully a glamour.
Yes, and it did say like it took all of them to do it. And will somebody talk about the actual? I didn't take notes on that because I didn't feel like it was super important until we get to the important part.
I can just highlight things really quick.
Yeah.
When they're out there, Lyra's like worried about the pandemonium. But she's like starting to think they made it up, and she's having trouble again with water. So she's not tall enough to get through what I'm picturing is like a glass tunnel upwards. So she has to climb up, and she just keeps failing and falling in the water. So she's doing very poor. Like she keeps getting electrocuted because I think there are eels in the water. And then she panics because she can't breathe, and she keeps repeating that. And Cronus is telling her how much she sucks at it. Terrible. Are you even trying? I just love getting shocked and drowned all over and over. Who knew I had that kink? So like she loves to make it awkward. Boone's chuckling at it, and he's
Boone's
just
made it with juice.
yeah, like he's not doesn't have even a drop of water on him. And then let's see. Rhea and Tethys are preparing us for Demeter's, which we'll face before Poseidon's, but they can't tell us too much without resetting time again. And I like this part because Kronos is like, "You made it through this before. Like, what is going on? What's the problem?" She's like, "I'm too short. I can't get enough tension." That's not a
And this, I
problem
feel like
before.
I feel like that's kind of the most important part because
Yeah, it is.
I just want to say that, like, I hit all the points in the future based on this chapter.
Yeah, and because he pulls her in, he's like, "You are shorter. Like, what happened to
Yeah.
you? And like,
And
how's that even possible?"
thinner, yes. Which, when he said this, that was when I started my notes. So I'm going to tell you
Okay.
what my prediction was before I read the rest of the chapter. I said, prediction. What if Zeus is being controlled or somehow glamored by Oceanus? Remember the thing on his face at the end of his labor? To which my next bullet point was, that's when Kronos gets pissed because Lyra is explaining to him, you have asshole kids. Like, if your son hadn't been such an asshole, I might not be so thin. And he was like, what did Hades do to you?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, Zeus. And he's like so taken aback that Zeus would do anything that would cause her to be, malnourished. And then she's like, yeah, he cursed me to be unlovable. And Zeus is like yelling again, like, he did what?
Pause there real quick.
And yeah.
Because I just want to make sure we don't skip this because it was really important to me.
Okay.
When she's like, well, I was malnourished or whatever. And he goes, "You're thinner. What in the name of Tartarus happened to make them starve you, Alani?" And it didn't even click with her. And I was like, he just called you Alani. Isn't that the name that your parents called you that I thought was bullshit? But apparently it is your real name and it actually means something. But like she just mixed it.
It wasn't her real parents.
Well, the parents that we know of, no other upbringing has been
The nightmares.
We've not been made aware of any other upbringing. And I won't go into the details of it yet because we're not there yet. But that caught me that he calls her Alani. So I feel like there are instances maybe where her name wasn't ever changed to Lyra. And she made it all the way through into Tartarus as Alani. And there was a trigger in this circumstance where
Don't think that. And I'll tell you why. And it's not a spoiler or anything. Not technically, because it happens in this chapter. But if her name truly is Alani, remember, they've been having all these prophecies forever. Can't tell me it never came up who this person was. And they've known her for however many millennia, because their time isn't reset, that I think they had known her name was Alani and got so used to it being Alani because in whatever this prophecy was, like, her name, and again, maybe her birth, if I still think that she's reincarnated to whatever extent of somebody, I don't know who.
Yeah,
but
I like that theory too.
her name would, you know what I mean? That name would pose way more weight than whatever she's being called, even if her name, she could have made it there as Alani a few times, but I think her name means more to them because they've been
with it long.
They've known who she is.
Yeah.
All these times.
Well, I would
When
say
you brought up the curse,
because of time traveling, she's always been Lyra. And they've known her through Hades seeing her as Lyra his whole life. So I don't think she's ever been Alani.
I think Kronos would be different because he does is the master of time. Maybe all the rest of them know her as Lyra, but I do think Kronos would be the one to be different if there was one, since he has the time travel. And you brought up, before we move on from the curse, that's the first time I think any of them have really been surprised by something like this situation, because he's doesn't seem like he knows anything about the curse. And then she starts panic, is it new? What does this have to do? Why does this curse make a difference? So
yes,
I think
and he does confirm this is the only time. Yeah, this is the only time that she's ever been cursed.
Yep. And he can't answer her questions about the crucible because she's like, do I always play for Hades? This is always happened. He won't tell her that, but the curse, he was surprised.
Which kind of answers it in itself, because why wouldn't he be able to be like, yeah,
Unless
exactly. Yeah.
exactly.
Super important thing that I brought up. I mean, I don't know if it's super important, but I brought it up earlier and I said it hadn't happened yet. That when they go through time, a lot of the times it is to reset time themselves because Lyra failed.
That's the
And I
next.
think that's going to come back and be important. And
I think it's already important, like, because Hades, remember in the lock, was like, I think they're the ones that are continuously resetting it, and Kronos is now confirming, yeah, the times that you don't end up in Tartarus, which to me says she didn't win the Crucible, whether she died in the Crucible, whatever, they'll jump back through time and say something to somebody or whatever. They'll reset it.
Yep.
And start all over until she comes back to Tartarus again. Which, imagine how frustrating that would be.
I feel like there's so much in this chapter. I'm excited about it. And the rest of them through it. When he says that she's her only
we're
hope.
not through the chapter yet, are we?
No, we're not through the chapter yet. You don't want me to go. You want me to let
I feel like there's 2 more big points I have on mine.
Okay, I'm just struggling with this. Go ahead.
I thought Hannah was saying something. No, she's pissed that we're taking so long. Okay. So we find out that they're the ones resetting time. And she looks over, and Persephone are talking alone, not necessarily like in a weird way, but she is picking something up. She just doesn't know what it is. Like, it's weird, but not weird. So she doesn't really know. And then Kronos pops in with, I don't even remember how it got brought up, but he does pop in and say, no, your parents abandoned you.
It was
and everyone.
It was before she saw Boone and Persephone. She's like, do you even know what you put me through? My parents abandoned me when I was 3 years old because they couldn't love me. And he said they always abandon you.
Yeah.
And she just got very upset about it.
Yeah.
Kronos says to her, like, he's like oddly gentle with her. And he says, parents should love their children. I shouldn't have. And then he like never finished it. And she gets really upset. And she said, you say that. She says it again. You say that, but you swallowed your own children so they wouldn't steal your power. And she, in her mind, she's like, I saw them together. Nobody was swallowed. Hades and Hestia were grown. And he presses her again. Boone's like, Lyra, like, chill. And he looks like a puppy that got kicked, is how she explains it. And he says, I told you that's not, like, you can tell he so much wants to tell her, but it'll have some kind of like huge detrimental effects. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of that chapter, she's like, I need Hades. Like, she's spiraling and she needs him to reset her, like recenter her. So that's what was happening. I think that
I'm going to break
bringing that up over and over again is important.
Yeah. Okay. So Boone comes over and he's like, she needs a break. And she's not really wanting it because she knows that Boone is talking about like a big break, like not like a 10-15 minute reset. She just needs alone time at this point. And Kronos again calls her Alani, and Boone's like, hey, that's not her name. Her name is Lyra. Like, knock it off. And he's kind of just being a dick at this point. This is the first time he really kind of gets on my nerves. Because he won't let shit go either. And
Boone?
Yeah. Like, he's just poking the bear for no reason. It's like, just chill the fuck out, dude. To which Kronos explains that no, her name is Alani and names are important. And Alani means death bringer. To which I write out, sure, starting to sound like I might have been right about her being older than just her human years. And then I add into my prediction note that Alani is part of the prophecy in if the prophecy has to do with Hades burning the world down, well, she's the death bringer, so she must be the catalyst somehow and or right there by his side. The two of them together is what causes this world burning.
He does when he's telling her like Deathbringer, he also says, is Hades Queen, it's your appropriate and true name.
Yeah.
Like, that's what she was always prophesized to be, is how I took that.
And I was just going to bring up in that part too, Kronos is like, she doesn't need anybody. She doesn't need me. She doesn't need my son. She doesn't need you. She can do this on her own, which I really liked.
And it's surprising, I think, probably for literally everyone there, that he would believe in her that much.
Yeah. And so she finally convinces Boone, like, shove off. Like, I just need to be alone. I'm gonna run through this training course by myself and figure some stuff out. And he's like, okay, I'll give you 30 minutes. Which again, I'm super irritated with him. Like, back the fuck off. You're not her mom. Like, let her do what she needs to do, and you go twiddle your thumb somewhere else. But that's just me.
No, I got that feeling too. Maybe not as strong as you, but I was like, okay, you're hovering, dude.
Yeah.
But also, we know she is a little bit fragile, clearly. So I get it.
Yeah, but
Also,
he's very much like an enabler too, in that sense. Like, it's like he bubble wraps her.
I think he
And
just wants to protect her because he cares about her.
yeah, but
And
it's
she won't
it's
take care
too
of
much.
herself. Like she's
mhm.
not gonna stop and take care of herself though. She absolutely will not. And they depend on her to get through these. So she can't run herself ragged. Like
I mean, she's
I think Boone is a realist and that she needs him. Like he's there for a reason, for balance, for all of these purposes.
I don't disagree, but she is literally trying to take care of herself by giving herself alone time. And he's like, okay, well, there comes outside strings. Like, I'm going to dictate your alone time. Like, because, and he even says, okay, let's go. Lyra needs to be alone. Like, he even recognizes that she's saying she needs alone time to get Kronos to leave her alone. And he's still just like, that's why I get so frustrated with this whole interaction because it's clear he understands her motives and her needs. And he's still like, okay, but I know better. And it's like,
I didn't take it necessarily that way, but I do see what you're saying.
yeah.
I was just going to also bring up the last like 2 chapters, the internal battle with Lyra. Like she's feeling like the sensitive side of like Kronos but she's still having to remind herself they're not good. So that's like slowly breaking down where she's like, they don't seem like the people I know them to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's letting what history told her and what
Mhm.
everyone thinks dictate that, and what she's struggling so much with it, how they're acting, contradicting everything she's ever known about them. Yep, that culminates. It's cooking.
Mm-hmm. So they finally leave her alone and she's definitely not going to sit there and try to go through this obstacle course. And she wanders down and walks down to Hades' lock door. And that's kind of where the chapter ends. And it flows right into the next one where she's still there.
Well,
Um,
and I will say, going back to like your Boone hatred comments,
mhm.
that I was like feeling a little bit your way until the end of this chapter. And then I was like, okay, like his head's on straight and he's really trying to help her.
No, it only built even more through this chapter. So she gets to the door, right? And it even talks about how, like, all of a sudden the Bident is like almost reacting to the fact that she's there. It's like glowing and sparkling and whatnot. She's really having that internal debate. Like, she knows that this Hades is not her Hades, but she's kind of desperate at this point. Like, Hades has been her like sounding board almost for these kind of events and whatnot. And she can't do anything about it. And this is as close to as she's going to get. And then all of a sudden, here's Boone that pops up out of nowhere. And he's like, that's not really him. And again, can't tell me it's been 30 minutes and he is following her and like interrupting her internal whatever. Okay, WTF, but whatever.
But she's spiraling because the love of her life appears to her, and he actually had like voice of reason and helped her out. But she needs a reminder so she doesn't get trapped in the mind fuck of Tartarus that he is not real and he cannot help her.
So,
That was
but let
like
me
that's
ask you
what
guys.
his purpose was. I would be
Oh,
annoyed as shit, but like I
but
wasn't
let
thinking
me
straight.
let me ask you guys in a real like realistically, when you are in a tenuous, stressful situation, regardless, you know you're about to spiral for the next half hour. Does it not only make it worse when you don't have the opportunity to take that spiral? Like sometimes you need to spiral a little bit to then be able to bring yourself out and see the reality of it. Like you need that time.
Yes, by myself though.
My
Like
point
I don't
exactly.
need to go to AI boyfriend, which is what she was doing. She was pretending she wanted alone time to go to AI boyfriend and try to get all the answers and smooch him and stuff.
No, it clearly shows at the very beginning of that chapter that she isn't trying to talk to, she's trying to feel close to him, not necessarily try and break down this door to get into the lock, which she doesn't even know if it'll open. Sometimes, like, just being near to, like, if someone dies and you go see their headstone, like, it's just feeling like you're near that whatever. It's a totem, essentially. Like, that's why I get so frustrated still with this interaction. Because here he is there again. But then he reveals that he actually knows Persephone, which I did not. I'll say this one took me by
Yeah,
surprise.
in the
I was
next
not.
chapter, we're on chapter 36 now, right? No?
No, it's on
Okay,
174.
gotcha.
I did not see
Yeah.
that one coming at all.
Pleasantly surprised by this. I was like, oh shit, like this is kind of cool. But this is also kind of why I was thinking like someone is definitely controlling where these time warps are going. But I also put in here like in the event they're not being controlled by somebody, it's interesting that it's always taking Lyra to Hades, and then now it's always taking Persephone to Boone. Like, is it following like a fated, like your fated person type? Like, if you have a fated,
I think as well.
yeah,
Maybe she's trying to bring Boone to Lyra. Lyra's sending her to bring Boone to her
Mm-hmm.
because Boone is an important piece of the puzzle.
maybe,
Lots of reasons for that. I'm very interested to see that one play
yeah,
out.
yeah. I definitely feel like book 3, we're gonna get a lot of like Boone Persephone heat somehow in there.
Mm-hmm.
But so he explains he didn't realize, like, he didn't know who she was necessarily, but she would pop in and like ruin some of his big scores. Like before they even got started, he would have to scrap it because she would pop in. He assumed she was another like freelance thief that had paid off her debt and was on her own. Lear was like, what the hell? Like, why didn't you just talk to her about it? And that brings us down his whole rabbit hole of not trusting anything down there because he can't trust if what he's seeing down there is real, let alone like if she really was time jumping or if it was before she was down there. Like he can't trust anything that's going on in Tartarus. So asking somebody that's in Tartarus, like, is kind of counterintuitive to what his belief is in the moment. Anybody else want to comment before the next part? Okay. So then, Boone goes in on again, you're not going to get anything from the AI version of Hades. If you need to talk to somebody, like, why don't you talk to me? And then poof, AI Hades is there and makes a comment, well, maybe it's not you that she wants to talk to, which sounded very Hades-like to me. I did enjoy that, especially with my Boone hating moment going. I actually typed him out as Hades-esque. That's his name now. And then this is why I got so upset because it's like, I feel like we're back in the first book again in the interaction when Boone and Hades are kind of like face to face in a similar situation. Boone decides to put his arm really low on Lyra's back, almost on her ass. And Hades kind of like twerks his eyebrow and gives him the like, what are you doing face, but doesn't do anything about it. And Lyra's like, no, like you're not going to touch me to try and prove your point to him or
He
about
tells
him or
her,
whatever.
that's not what I'm doing. Like, you
Yeah.
need to know that this isn't real. This isn't him. Stone serious, like, yeah, that was a shitty thing to do, but that's not why I did it.
Right.
Like, it wasn't a macho, like, match off, try to make him jealous.
And that's why, yeah, I was also
That
like,
was his
what the
redemption. I got
fuck?
mad.
Yeah. Which makes
He
sense. That's
wasn't
the only way because we
right.
need Hades to immediately rip him
Yeah,
apart.
like Boone would have ceased to exist in that moment. So it's not that he was wrong in what he accomplished, but he was wrong for being a dick and just not letting her have 5 fucking minutes to herself. Like, let her wallow, okay? Like, she's had 0 time to process what the hell is going on. She has so much pressure on her. Like, let her do what she needs to do for 5 freaking minutes and sit off like a creepo stalker, which he kind of already is. He followed her down there and make sure she doesn't like end up locked in the lock. And then when she is done, like, then you guys could talk it out. But yeah. So Lyra agrees, like, yeah, Hades definitely would have murdered him. This is not my Hades. And they turn and leave. And that's the end of that chapter.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything to.
And all right. So I can't remember if it just starts off with another time warp, but that's where my notes start.
She essentially is trying to sleep and she wakes up seeing the crevice and then in a field. And then
Yes.
there are sudden booms. So yeah, it pretty much does.
So this time she time warps right into the middle of a freaking war zone. And, she describes I didn't write down what it's called, but it's the monster with 100 hands. It's a
Hecatonchery, something like that.
Sounds good enough to me.
Yeah, she wakes up to explosions. She gets her beat again, and then she sees perfect sunset with that thing, the 100-handed ones, hurling bodies into the sky. And she's like, I hope those aren't mortals.
Yeah, because she sees them with a poof of dust after they go into the trees.
To note, while she's teleporting, she is starting to question we are as well. Who's controlling these if it's not Kronos? They're definitely coming after me for a purpose.
I'm just sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Very important notice.
And all of a sudden she hears, somebody call it get down. And turns out it's Zeus. And she's like, well, that's weird. Why is a-hole number one on the list of a-holes? Is he trying to even offer for me to not die? And so she jumps down, and when she looks to her side, she realizes that somebody is standing right next to her, and turns out it's actually Kronos. And it was Zeus that threw the lightning toward Kronos. And she's sitting here thinking, what the hell? Why is he, attacking his dad or whatever? But Kronos looks down and recognizes her immediately and is like, you. And she's sitting there thinking, oh shit, he's about to murder me. He recognizes me somehow and he's gonna try and kill me. And then he's like, you're the one that saved my son. And so it's all very kind of warm hearted again with Kronos.
She puts him at an age that he's not as young as he was the last time she saw him when she jumped, but he has a beard, but there's no silver. So he's aged a bit. She's trying to place where she is again.
Yeah. And he's starting to essentially say yeah, you might have to save me now. And as he's saying this, he gets hit with a big bolt of lightning and is blasted off. And she whips around, and it's Zeus that has done this. And she's like, holy shit, again, why are you attacking your dad? And he tells her hey, you should probably beat it. It's not safe here.
Oh, did you go to the next chapter?
Weird.
Yeah, they kind of blend together.
Okay. I just wanted to say before you go to the next chapter, Lyra trying to figure out how he recognizes her. Because she's like, did I jump back to him? I don't think we've ever met. Maybe he was thrown into Tartarus, but I don't know. Or she questions, did Hades tell his dad about me jumping? And that's how. And I realized that did Hades never tell her, you saved me on the beach? I remember he said you saved me, or he called her guardian angel. I don't think he gave her the details. But Kronos must have witnessed it.
Right after what you're reading now, she says exactly that.
Yeah. Saved his son, which one, when, oh my God, is that what Hades thought I was his guardian angel? But I don't think he explained, you saved me from my grandfather on the beach to her. I think he just called her the guardian angel.
Yeah, he was. We know about it from his internal monologue.
But I don't think he ever said it. So I feel like that would have been an important piece of information for him to tell her.
Maybe.
So I think I'm filing that away, that Kronos was also there when Uranus, tried to drown Hades.
Yeah.
Now you're the beginning of chapter 37 is Zeus not aiming at Lyra, and the chimera that's hanging out with him shooting fire is not paying her any attention. They're not worried about her at all.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't take a lot of notes, and I feel like if I say what I actually wrote down in here, it's definitely gonna be a spoiler.
Yeah, this is a longer chapter.
We can pretty much glaze over a lot of this. They're just in battle. She's popping around.
Yeah.
She runs into the forest. She's fighting.
She's really questioning why Zeus is attacking his father. She's realizing that they are direct attacks on his father. And like, that's not like him.
My trial now is going to be asking me for milk. Okay, go lay down. We don't need to hear you whining. Go lay down. I'm not, you have space right here.
Realize Iapetus is also there and Zeus is also attacking him. So it's like getting clearer. Like, don't do this. We're not your enemies. My father swallowed every child he sired except for me, and only because my mother hid me and you defend him.
Yeah, I put in here, like, it definitely seems to be the war that would eventually send the Titans to Tartarus. And she comes upon Hestia.
Yep.
And
Aphrodite's attacking her.
Aphrodite wasn't attacking her.
Yeah,
No,
she
yeah,
slams
they
into
were-
Hades' older sister.
Well,
I think she was trying to save
Oh,
her.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And so her head, like, slams into the rock and breaks it open.
It's like an accident slam. I did get very
Yeah.
confused with this part.
So it kind of lends to, like, I don't really remember exactly how they describe it in here, but she starts to kind of see that Hestia's face is like super sparkly, kind of like
It's a
when
shimmer over her face.
yeah. And I put in here, I said, called it. The weird veil thing is over Hestia too. Oceanus is a traitor. Those are my notes for that.
And
And
Phoebe steps
then
out.
yes.
And another one, she's like, I wouldn't hurt them, but they're trying to attack her. I wouldn't hurt them for the world or all the powers of the primordials.
Yeah.
Hestia is defending. This is interesting because Hestia is defending Phoebe from Aphrodite. She's like, that she wouldn't hurt her. So I think when she hit her head, her veil was cracked a little bit. Did you guys catch that? Because Hestia, she is also in the same situation. She should also be attacking Phoebe, but she should have a veil too. But she doesn't. She's like, don't hurt her. She wouldn't hurt her. She wouldn't hurt us. What else? And then Aphrodite goes on to try to convince Hestia that we need to stop them. And then the thing comes back over Hestia's face. Like Lyra sees this, but it comes back over.
So I read that part of it as soon as Hestia started almost not necessarily defending, but being open to the idea of her not being bad. That's when it's like started glowing more. It's like it's bringing in the subconscious thought of when they start to agree and be like, oh, like maybe they're not that bad. It's like that's when the veil is really like
I think it was the head
firing back
injury.
up.
The head injury like made it glitch and it came back. We'll see.
It could be. No clue on that one.
And then Phoebe starts having a vision. She hasn't had one in ages. And like assholes, Aphrodite's like, attack her while she's vulnerable.
Phoebe looks across the field like they're coming
Yeah, she
toward
like
her
comes
now.
out of her and she says, who did this to you? And she's like,
Yeah.
I will not. Oh, wait, she's talking to them still. I will not harm you unless you force me. And she realizes that she's looking at her. Your time hasn't arrived but you are coming into your first power. Can you see? She's like, what is this bitch talking about?
Yeah.
Can you see?
So I
And she
wrote
goes,
that whole quote down and I said, I fucking knew it.
yeah. So the same mesh veil that's over Zeus's face at the end of the labor in the crucible. And like you said, Ashley was just saying, Eos's tears allowed me to see it before, but Ashley's like, what if that was
maybe that
alluding
wasn't
to
there
veils
anymore.
instead?
And her internal, like, true powers, like, were already kind of like glitchy. And I did put in here, like, we did think, like, we talked about it and linked, like, about those tears. They said they weren't going to last that long.
Yeah.
And it was
something
there
there.
for way too long.
And the fact that she brought them up, I feel like
Yeah.
alludes to that too. Lyra comes in the realization that like, my powers should have taken longer probably to come in, but like maybe it's just like my mind and body are finally ready to handle this and I need it right now.
Yeah.
And Phoebe, without her being like, I'm Lyra or I'm Alani, she says, Alani, hide. So she's like, oh shit, I must go. Do I hide? Do I hide? And that's the end of that chapter. So time warp, Lyra's like, she wants to hide, but she needs a higher vantage point. So she climbs up. And she's proud of herself for getting up there. She didn't get to the peak. The ocean's on fire. Everything's like in turmoil. There are gashes ripped into the earth. Like there's monsters everywhere. She sees Koyos. He's missing a leg. Can they regrow legs? I don't know. And she's just kind of panicking. She whirls and she sees Demeter Tethys was vines, and she sees the veil over Demeter's face. She's panicking. Oh God, oh God, oh God. And then somebody comes up behind her and says, you should not be here. And it's Rhea. Okay. Guys,
And I
this
also
is what
just want to add that even the 100-hand little thingy had a veil on it that she could see all the way from in the ocean.
Okay. So I love Rhea sees Lyra's tattoo and says Orion. And she said, are you Lyra? We find out that Hades told his mom about Lyra. And probably the only person knows about her. And he told her to lock her in Plagathon if he sees her.
Yeah, because she just ghosted
She's
at
like,
the
yeah.
bathtub.
Well,
she's
and
like,
that's what I was saying earlier, Ashley, to your theory about hiding from time. If maybe he was also putting that together, and like I was able to keep her a long time when I had her locked up down there.
Maybe.
oh yeah, lock her down here. We did have a day
Mm-hmm.
and a half, maybe.
Until he
That's a
left,
good point.
until he moved her, and
I
that's
didn't think about it at that point. Yeah.
I didn't until you said that earlier.
And she does mention this must be happening after the last time I saw him in Erebos when he did lock me up down there. So she does bring it again. I was questioning him, like, why aren't you guys fighting back? And she said, we would never hurt our children. Shit, I was really hoping for a different answer, one that explained things way better than the off the wall explanation my brain's starting to come up with. And then she asked why they're attacking. We don't know. Somebody's convinced them we're monsters. Somebody has convinced them they're monsters. She tells her about the veil and she says Mother Gaia. Okay, so this is where I'm going to go off. She's asking more about the veils, but she says Mother Gaia, who is the wife to Uranus, father of Kronos. My theory, Uranus tried to kill Kronos' kids, so Kronos killed Uranus. And Gaia, using the veils, is turning the kids against Kronos and all of the other Titans as revenge for him killing her husband.
That is a good theory.
That is a good
I had no idea who got. Yeah, look it up.
Well, I
But
remembered Gaia. We spoke about Gaia because we have
Yeah.
a theory that Lyra maybe
She's
was
a
Gaia
primordial.
reincarnated.
So also though,
I'm just really excited about it.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I also think that Oceanus is a bigger part of this. We don't know necessarily what all of his powers are. And
Maybe
think
he
he's
is
the
also
main
seeking
culprit.
revenge for his brother. Maybe they're in it together. Isn't Oceanus
something.
Uranus'
Yeah.
brother?
Yeah.
I agree.
Like, I really think because they keep bringing him up and they've been in Tartarus since this, like, and she now knows about the veiling. So, and they keep talking about Oceanus, the traitor. Like, he is definitely
Yeah.
a huge part of this.
Anna, do you have any theories on that before I go more into detail on the veils?
No, I didn't know who
Right.
that was, so I skipped over it.
Yeah. The only reason
the mother
I
of
knew,
all.
yeah, the only reason I knew is because whenever Ashley looked up or told us Mother Gaia was all of their mothers, because I said maybe Lyra was reincarnated like from a higher power. Okay, so she
And I guess neither of you still haven't looked at my family tree, you jerks. I worked
Sorry.
so hard on
I-
that, and
I will look at
you
it
would have known
tomorrow.
who she was. Keep going.
I know. I'll look at it tomorrow. She is in the glossary too. Obviously, Rhea is having a strong reaction to Lyra seeing this veils. And it's like, have you seen him before? She tells her she saw it on Zeus's. Phoebe was here when I saw it on Hestia's, and she told her that I was coming into my first power. Rhea sounded very surprised that Phoebe told her that. And then she saw more, like she said that the veil got stronger. Then she goes on and glamours a mouse because she says she needs proof and tried to tell the mouse to eat a rock she glamours a hawk, tries to tell it to eat a rock and says it's a mouse, and they do it, like no questions asked. And Lyra can see the same thing over its eyes. This part I got like a little hot about because I didn't read it right. Lyra, let's see, where am I? Rhea tells Lyra, only the god who places it can see the veil, Lyra. And I was like, the fuck? Lyra placed the veils. And then I was like, no, Christy, read. I believe you are now the goddess of glamours with the ability to see them no matter the source.
And
Probably to
possibly
manipulate them
remove
at
them.
some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did though. I freaked out. I was like, only the God who places it can see the veil. I went back and I was like, never mind. It's fine. No panicking. Let's see. Fates be damned. My thoughts precisely what you're seeing. The veils over their faces mean somebody very powerful must have glamored our children. So like to Gaia's level or Uranus. One of these guys. I mean, Oceanus, not Uranus.
So Oceanus is her brother, FYI.
Rhea's brother?
Yeah. So
Uranus is
Oceanus
child
is
then?
a Titan. Gaia and Uranus are the primordials that had all of the Titans.
But Oceanus
That
would
are
be
in the
one
story.
of Uranus's children, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so a child avenging along with his
Yeah.
mother.
Yeah.
Okay. And then she is like having this like heartbreak moment because she's like, I know what's going to happen to all of them. And if we're right and everybody's glamored, then that happy family Titan moment I saw before that was real. The lie is everything the gods believe, everything the world believes, still believes 1,000 years later that the Titans have evil incarnate. And that's a lie. And then she tries to convince her she can stop it. And Hades
poof.
shows up. She's like, get out of here. But he takes her. Right?
No, she says she can't stop it.
What?
She says you can't stop it.
Did I just misread it? I'm sorry. They don't know what they're doing. You can't stop it. Okay. Yes, I did misread it. Sorry about that. And then the black smoke comes. We know who's coming. Hades is coming. She tries to get Rhea to run, but she didn't. She just kind of stayed there, got rid of Lyra, made her go invisible, which is apparently something she has the power over. And Boone thought he was getting one over on her. And she's in the cage. Hades is there. Lyra can see the shimmer. He can see the veil over Hades. So I'm sure that is causing a lot of turmoil in her because she wants to keep him from hurting his mother and knows everything that's going to transpire. He's so cold with her. She tries to tell him that he's been bewitched. He obviously will not hear reason. Don't make me harm you. He doesn't want to hurt her. Let's see. And Lyra can see that while she thinks Rhea would fear her son, there's love there. And he brings up again, you let him eat me. I was a baby and you let father eat me, eat all of us. Which, like, I am just really at this point, like, why the fuck would anybody even think that happened? Because they're all still there. Did he, like, throw them
No,
out?
yeah. I'm confused
No, yeah.
as well.
I told you guys what the story was at the very beginning.
I know, but it's dumb. It's like the dumbest thing ever in history, in Greek mythology or whatever.
It's actually not. There's some dumber things.
Actually, you're very off-centered.
But Rhea's still, like, very vaguely, she's like, I didn't do that. Kronos didn't do that. But then he won't let her get a word out. See, and she's going to go with it with no problem. I'm taking you to where you can no longer hurt your children, any of us. And the Lyra tries to pop out because she doesn't want Hades to hate himself, which is a bad idea. He says, Lyra, what are you doing here?
Yeah, he can hear her, but he can't see her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
or
yeah.
feel her or something. He can feel her, I think is what it is.
And then what does Rhea do? She's just like, go to sleep. Boop. I guess
Yes.
she took that moment of distraction that Hades
Yeah.
had in hearing Lyra and was like, okay, this is my chance to get out.
Wait, you skipped to the most important part.
I didn't skip anything. Oh, the veil wavered. Oh, the veil wavered. Is that what you meant? Like when he hears her, it affected him in that manner. I'm sorry.
She grabbed his face, or she grabbed him. Like she jumped out and was like, Hades, no.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, I fucked that up. I'm sorry, guys.
Just
Without
saying,
a clue of what I'm doing, I rush forward to wrap my arms
bury
around
the
his
lead
neck,
there.
pressing my palm to his cheek. Don't do this. Don't do this. Huh? Right there. He'll hate himself when he learns the truth. The veil wavers. Lyra, and he's like, what's happening? He gets like foggy, and that's when he gets put to sleep. What are you doing here? Do you think he remembers that? Or do you think that veil like keeps him from remembering that encounter?
I don't think he probably put it off as like part of Rhea.
Yeah.
Because she all of a sudden like put him to
Okay.
sleep like she did like when he was a kid. So I think he probably
I
just
don't
took
think
it off.
yeah, I don't think he'll hold on to that. And they make a point, like it's the reason why he didn't need to, right?
Yeah.
And Rhea shares that she got really good at helping Hades go to sleep because he had nightmares as a child, which makes sense since he was so alone. And he was worried so much. He had anxiety about things he would have to do and be for humanity. His powers would escape him. He would cause harm and devastation. It all makes sense that somebody
Until
would have nightmares in those situations.
yeah.
Mhm.
And the nightmares. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. You were about to say it.
Go for it. No, you say it.
Just like what I highlighted, that she closes her eyes tightly. The nightmare stopped after he met you the second time, which is when she was like reassuring him that he's not evil and all of the
Yeah.
things.
The fact that like that's the effect she had on him, and he
Yeah.
didn't know. And
Yeah.
all it took was one person that he
To
didn't
say
even
one
know
kind thing.
A 5
to say
minute.
that to him.
Yeah.
It makes me sick for his parents.
You make me sick.
She had no idea which time would have been the second time, but she doesn't even realize like that
Mhm.
the second time was when she saw him as a teenager. And she's sad. She's getting all emotional. And then the tattoos. If we remember, Hades told Lyra that he got the tattoos from his mother, and we couldn't place it. And Lyra even questioned that because she's like, she's evil and in Tartarus. Like, when would this have happened? For her, which one was it? Right. Okay, yeah. She's like, this is when she did that right before he sent her to the lowest depths of the underworld. And they won't live beyond the gates of what our children have built. So I think maybe Phoebe has seen what is going to happen here and shared it with them, because the fact that she knew that she was going to lose those kinds of powers is interesting and important. The spider, butterfly, owl, fox, and panther obediently crawl away from her skin to his, but the owl waits until the last. So the butterfly had loyalty to Hades, correct? It
No,
didn't
it
go
was
to Lyra at all.
No, it was I thought it was like the bird or something.
It was the
the
owl too. It was the butterfly.
Oh,
So I
maybe it
think it's
was.
interesting, like that the different animals have the stronger connections to Hades and then to Rhea. So the owl did not want to go, but it did go when she told it to. And then she explained that she made sure Hades couldn't see her because it would have broken his trust in her. And since he's never trusted easily, him losing that trust would have been the end of something important. It probably would have been the end of his humanity at all. Like, he would have been the evil incarnate that everybody thinks Hades is. She knows the war is about to be done and tells Lyra to hide. She tries to warn her, like, if you and but she like I don't know why she did this. This was dumb. If you end up somewhere you can't get out of, I'll come for you. I'll
No,
help you. You'll have to convince me at first, but I'll help you fix this. Phoebe will
I
see.
actually
So I'm
love
like,
that
wait a
part.
second. Well, I need to. It's just like, what is it? It is showing that Lyra was the root of it, of the prophecy, what all the things we predicted. Like, she did this shit to herself. She is the reason she keeps getting pulled back into Tartarus. Like, she brought it up. I'm sure it was confirmed. Like, yes, she can do this, but this is the reason why it is happening to her.
Mhm.
Keep your promise to me, Lyra. Help us. And she's like, well, shit, what did I do? I made an unbreakable oath to the Titans to help them.
Yeah, she
Oh
swears
my
on the river
God.
Styx. I put dun dun
Come
dun.
on, girl. Let's see. She does teleport when she's like, "Ooh, look at me." She tells about the tingly surge. She has better control now, so I think that she says man is best in her power and having the glamour. She has better control of the other things. And she goes to the underworld, to the water gardens, and sees that he started them. They're not what they're going to be, or the size that they're going to be. But she sits there under a weeping willow by the water gardens, waiting for time to come get her, and reminiscing on the fact that she realizes the Titans are not the bad guys.
I just had a whole thought.
Okay, please do. That's the end of it. So let's
Remember
talk
they
about
always
it.
talk about Hades stole Persephone
Uh,
and kidnapped her, like,
yes,
and
that was the
brought
original
her to the
theory,
underworld
and like forced
and
her to be
whatnot.
his wife, right? It was like
Well,
that.
not wife,
Or
but
I thought that people thought they were married or partners or something together.
humans, yes. But everyone is under the thought that, he kidnapped her and brought her to the underworld and blah blah blah. But what if Lyra is the reason? that he took Persephone to the underworld in the first place.
Oh, maybe he was like slipping and depressed and like going dark again.
Or maybe Persephone is part of, like, she's the key to give Hades even a reason to want to open Tartarus.
Yeah.
She has to have a reason to need to be in.
She fucking put her in Tartarus. She time warped her into there. Yep, she just, I bet
just
she
saying.
just snatched her one time and was like, come on. And then she probably like glamored her to forget about it. Persephone's
So
probably
I don't
playing
doubt
her.
that. But like, if Lyra is the reason that Hades brings on any kind of relationship with Persephone to then turn it around and make Persephone part of this game without even Persephone's like foreknowledge, diabolical.
I feel like Persephone would have agreed to it.
I'm not saying she wouldn't have, but she clearly didn't because she doesn't know how
Well,
she
she
got to Tartarus.
Or
Maybe
she's
she doesn't
like,
remember that.
we also don't know if she's being truthful because she won't tell Lyra anything.
Right.
But she also said even the Titans don't know.
Oh, so maybe she
doesn't have to-
doesn't want to tell the Titans because Lyra.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. There's something there for sure.
But like, I feel like this, because, you know, she was visiting him before Persephone was even born. Just
See, I
throwing
was
that
going
out
like,
there.
I was going like, Lyra wanted Hades to have some like spring and flowers
Nah.
and sunshine down in the underworld with him.
Lyra doesn't want any other lady that he could romp with, possibly, in his bubble.
She has a secure attachment and she wants him to be happy. And she is not.
No,
gonna-
she's
Yep.
the most insecure person on the face of that world.
She just, no. I don't think she thinks he would do anything with another woman. There's different kinds of insecurity. And I don't think she has that kind. I think she
She's
has like,
questioning.
this asshole telling me the truth all the time, but not like, is this
She is
asshole trying to get with
still
another woman?
questioning if he really loves her.
Yeah, but not, she never says that she thinks he would.
It's kind of part of it. If you don't love
Infidelity.
somebody, why would you not sleep with other people? I'm just saying.
My brain stopped.
But yeah,
Overall,
We're big
that was
prediction.
wild.
Yeah, it was a great part, and we're not even halfway through the book yet.
I know.
So I'm excited.
All right.
This is
Far off
I was
from it.
I wanted to keep reading.
Oh yeah, me too. And like, especially I was so excited. I wrote things down in my notebook while I was reading, which I literally have never done in my life. Mind you.
That's the best.
Because I was like, I'm gonna be good for my sisters. I'm gonna be good for my sisters. I'm gonna write things down. They're gonna be so impressed with me. I'm gonna be exciting and remember things. I had a very hard time stopping. But if I don't, like, I have to wait until it's like bookmark time, or I will lose my
No
excitement.
thanks. Oh, we just lost Ashley.
Oh no.
Oh, shit.
Your phone died.
I think we can wrap. Okay, did we have anything else to add for our wrap up there? Or Hannah, would you like to be our first bookends this time around?
Yeah, I was actually going to suggest we just kind of end it because this is a 3-hour session already.
I agree.
I feel like there's at least an hour out of it that was like,
Definitely.
Yeah, I think
They're only supposed to be an hour.
no, yeah, I think we just end it. And we've given tons of predictions and a
I'm
lot of
super excited about the next section.
Yes. So we'll do the
We're
next
gonna see you next
section.
time on the shelf.
Yeah.
See you next time on the shelf. Yeah.
Part
Yeah.
4.
All right.
Yeah,
Love you,
part 4.
sisters.
Bye, sisters.
Goodbye.
Love you.